Combined, they landed less than 30 strikes, but what is telling is that Alexander Volkov looked like a different fighter than he has in the past. And what I mean by that is when you don't have the threat of somebody trying to take you down, when you don't have the threat of somebody trying to dance around you, when you know somebody's going to walk forward and it's either they're going to knock you out or I'm going to knock you out, there's a different mentality we can take. And Alexander Volkov definitely looked like that Drago that was going to be a world beater before he ran into the Curtis Blades and the, Cyril Gons and all the Tom Aspinalls, all that good stuff, right? So let's talk about it, AJ. Rozenstruik had a little bit of success, man. He walked forward and he decided to go the power route, as opposed to the precision route. Volkov, he tried to pick him apart, throw some kicks, use that nice cross to go down the pipe, you know what I mean? And just pick his angles and use the precision to generate the knockout. Even though Rozenstruik commented back after the fight saying, I was never knocked out, man. We were just getting started. The fight ended, and that's what it was. Mouthpiece went flying out. You know what it was. Was this the appropriate methodology in terms of a fight plan, a game plan for each fighter to take, or do you think that Rozenstruik could have did something better, or Volkov, even though he won, could have did something a little bit better?
Well, I think it was spot on for both, to be honest. I know on the commentary team they were talking that Volkov, he can wrestle. He has the chops to get it going and get wrestling. But when a guy's that big and he's throwing all those front kicks, everything down the pipe, uppercuts, man, and you're the small guy coming in, you're basically just letting your face be the target for one of those knees, man. So I think it was a good game plan from both. If only, maybe Rozenstruik had a little bit more head movement, that mouthpiece wouldn't have fallen out. Maybe the ref would have given just a little bit more pause for concern. But I mean, there's nothing much you can do in that short and that fast of a fight when those big of punches are flying. Not really much. Is there something you saw?
Well, the only thing that I could have seen for Alexander Volkov himself is that maybe try to dictate the range a little bit better. Just because Rozenstruik, when he wanted to come forward and get into the pocket of Volkov never got out of the pocket. He just stuck in the pocket and traded. And for a split second, I was like, Rozenstruik's about to knock out Volkov, bro. Like, it's about to happen. But then again, Volkov is a very durable fighter, very tough fighter. And at the end of the day, he got the job done, man. He knocked the mouthpiece out. He said that he dictated the range. He stuck in the pocket, and he got the job done. So I will just take the win for what it's worth for Alexander Volkov. Now, let me ask you a quick question, AJ, and this is unrelated to the actual fight, but this was pre-fight and post-fight situation for Alexander Volkov. You've heard the man speak plenty of times before, but this is one time where during the pre-fight interviews and the post-fight interviews, I picked up on something that I hadn't noticed before. Did you notice Alexander Volkov starting to speak with a slight stutter?
I didn't.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it's nothing like too crazy, but it's definitely something that's there. And when I was looking at the comments, a lot of people were like, oh, I didn't know Volkov had a stutter. It's not a problem. It's not like a derogatory thing. But the first thing that the mind jumps to is, well, you're a heavyweight. You just notched your 35th career victory. Not fight, but victory. You're starting to stutter. You're getting a little bit older. Are we seeing signs of the diminishing are we getting some CTE here, brother? You know what I mean? Like, are we starting to see the brain starting to go into a negative decline? And if you do start to see those symptoms, is now the time to beeline out of there. You feel me? Even though this is what you do, you signed up for this lifestyle, that's not what you want to start seeing, especially of some of your favorite fighters, right? So what do you just make of that in and of itself?
Yeah, man, that's scary because you only get one brain, man. Or you go the Michael Bisping route and don't tell anybody and just literally fight like their last 10 fights and earn the championship with one eye. So there's two ways to go about it, man. But I don't know, an eye versus a brain. It's kind of not a big win for me either way. But Volkov, I mean, it's hard because how old is he? He's getting older. He must be past 35, if I had to guess. I don't have the number up now.
He's 33 years old, brother. So he's 33. Right there. He's on the tip of his prime right there. That's what makes it even more troubling.
That's a harder decision, man. Especially, I think what does it for me, if my mom told me, hey, you're stuttering, like, is your brain okay? Then I'd be like, oh, shit, like, I guess I got to know. Because then when somebody really knows you and tells you that, then it's the thing. People in the comment section, doesn't really matter. So somebody like Volkov, I would imagine. What do you think?
Well, listen, it all depends on the support system. That's kind of like the same point that you're making. If your support system is telling you, hey, brother, like, we haven't picked up on this before, maybe this has been a thing for a while and we're just slow to pick up on it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to overreact, but it's something that I definitely wanted to take into consideration. Now, lastly, AJ, do you think that there is any title hopes remaining for Alexander Volkov? Being that he's kind of in that gatekeeper status, right? You lost to the Curtis Blades, I'm pretty sure. You lost to the Cyril Gons. You lost to the Tom Aspinalls, the new breed of heavyweights, the new hybrid heavyweights heavyweights that are kind of solidifying themselves as the real top 5 fighters in the division. He's not really there, and it seems like he can't get past those well-rounded, multi-dimensional fighters. So is there any path to the title? Because it seems like Volkov is kind of indicating himself that that's where he thinks things are going here.
Yeah, I actually do think there's a path, surprisingly, and it's only because of how shallow the heavyweight division is. There's so little fighters up there. You said top 5 upper echelon, Derek. We have a ranking system of top 15 where there's all these people going and mixing them up. But for some reason, the heavyweights, it literally is that top 5 bubble that you have to break into to kind of start getting a title shot. Volkov's right there. He's right on the cusp of it. So if he can get a couple more gatekeeping positions where he's stopping people just like this in the first round. And then the other fights are going on. Nobody wants to fight up at heavyweight. Next thing you know, they're like, oh, well, we got no one else besides Volkov. You want to scrap? That's his shot in, man. And that's when it happens. That's like the Glover. That's like the Bisbee. Those are the fights that people take that they actually get it done. I could see it happening for Volkov. What about you?
I mean, the hardest part about this entire situation is the man is 33 years old. So it's not like there's not a lot of tread left on these tires. Like, the man still has a lucrative, a long, beautiful future ahead of him, especially at heavyweight, where the last thing to go is your power, right? That's what's most important. So is there an opportunity? Maybe if he sticks around long enough to where all of these new breed fighters come and go. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be tough. And I think that he has solidified himself, which is a very, very difficult thing to do, as a bona fide top 10 fighter for the rest of his days, or at least until we start to see a real legitimate fall off that cliff in terms of performance. But either way, that was a huge win by Alexander Volkov. And like I said, that is 35th career win in 45 career fights, brother. I mean, beautiful thing to see.